And welcome into In-Game Chat for Saturday, February the 24th, 2024, Season 18, Episode number 8. I'm Scott.
And I'm RJ.
Welcome in, everybody. This thing is done. If you want to get in touch with us, our phone number is 334-272-9228. Check out ingamechat.net for all the links to get in touch with us. You can find us on Twitter, at In-Game Chat. You can find us on Facebook there as well. Email us, everyone at ingamechat.net. Streaming right now on Twitch. Go to twitch.tv and type in Game Chat, and you can watch us. And you can also chat with us in the chat room there. So yeah. There's some people in there. Bama, Brian, Lethal Migraine, AC Wraith hanging out. AC Wraith, I played some pinball this past weekend. Tell you about that coming up. Also, don't forget we're on Discord, and you can find our Discord link at our website, ingamechat.net. All the way at the bottom, there's a Discord link. Click on that. Boom, you're in there, and you can find our voice chat channel. Jump into that, and you can talk to us on the air with amazing quality. So we welcome you to do it, and we thank you so much for being here for another weekend of video game conversation. At least that's what we attempt. Sometimes we don't. Sometimes we talk video games for like 30 minutes, and then for the rest of the 2 hours we're talking about something else. So, but anyway, welcome into the show. Glad to have you here. Thank you so much for joining us. RJ, what'd you play?
Standard fare, but for the most part, I was getting back into Phantasy Star Online 2, New Genesis. I started playing that again. And usually, when you haven't played something for such a long time, so many things have changed.
You forget how to play it.
You forget how to play it, of course, exactly. And so I had to go through the tutorial system again, and there were so many things that I've forgotten over the months since I played the thing that I had to go through all that again, but...
Has that got a complicated control scheme? I mean, is it a complicated, very involved?
Well, there's a lot of stuff going on. It's one of them multiplayer online games, so there's a whole bunch of stuff going on with the with classes and subclasses and techniques and skills and how do you implement this and implement that and equipment modification, put this here, put this there, all types of stuff, hunting for all types of things. It's a whole bunch. It's like almost an overload of what I had to go through doing that. But
one of those where it's like, man, I ain't got it. My attention span has shortened since the last time I played this. I can't put in the effort.
Well, true, but I still wanted to get in there and see all the things that have changed since the last time I played.
And what was this again? Which one was this one?
Fantasy Star Online 2.
Okay,
yeah,
gotcha.
Yeah. Something else that I was thinking about while playing this thing, it was on a subscription system. Every month or so, you pay a bit to keep your premium access to the game or whatever. And that was a system I haven't used in a very long time.
Yeah.
Usually it's like nowadays, subscription service and just keep adding stuff to it that you pay for over and over and over again.
And did you put some money into it?
No, not this time. It's been a long time since I've had a premium account in this.
I don't know why I'm not congratulating, but saying good to that. I don't know why. Mm-hmm. I don't necessarily know the way that economy works over there and how it functions, but I guess it's good. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, look, we did it with City of Heroes. We had the monthly subscription thing, or anybody playing World of Warcraft knows about the monthly subscription thing.
That was the only way you could play it.
Yeah.
Like nowadays, you can play the game for free for the most part with and not everything is what I'm saying, but for your big MMO online type stuff, a lot of it is just sure you can play free or you can play free but then like pay this amount and get all these other perks that come with it and all these other good things.
It's the perks.
But City of Heroes, WoW, back at that time, they didn't offer that. You paid the subscription to play the game. You first bought the game with ever how much money, and then you paid another fee on top of it
every month
to continue to play the game.
Yeah,
right. We've kind of drifted away from that, actually.
Yeah, because I was just about to ask. There's no one else doing that right now, right?
Somebody's gonna hear about something and tell, oh no, they still do it this way, whatever the case may be. I don't know, but for the best I can figure, there's nothing doing it like that. Like Diablo 4, you have to pay for it, and then you can pay extra for like the battle pass or the whatever thing, the season pass thing that goes with it. But there was a time, WoW. That's another one.
You said City of Heroes,
right? I'm trying to think of another one. Was Guild Wars the first one that maybe had done it differently? Like no. Guild Wars you had to buy it, or Guild Wars 2. I can't remember. But you had to buy it and you had to pay a subscription fee. Yeah, that's interesting. I'm just realizing that now that they don't do that anymore. You don't pay for the game and then pay again to play it every month. You normally either buy the game and you can continue to play it and then pay extra for battle passes and season passes and all this other stuff, or it's free to play and then you can put money into it to get the battle passes, season passes, that sort of thing. Yeah, I'm not sure. Somebody is in the chat room. I'm wondering if somebody's in the chat room throwing out some stuff there. Phantasy Star Online 2 costs money. He says he thinks it's in Game Pass. WoW still gets lots of subscribers, more money for Microsoft. No. We know they get subscribers. We know there's subscription services out there, but there used to be a situation, and I don't know, WoW may have changed theirs, and I'm not sure. But there used to be a situation where you had to put the money up front for the game, and then you had to pay a monthly fee to play the game that you just spent money on to buy. I also don't remember, and again, I could be misremembering, but I don't remember us really complaining about that.
No.
I don't remember us ever thinking, boy, it's kind of sneaky that we're paying this money and then we got to pay every month to continue to play a game that we bought full price. You know what I'm saying? Because
we were playing together. The enjoyment of us playing together at the same time and having so much fun with this game really outweighed the negative aspects of having to pay, what was it, $15 a month?
Yeah, well, that, and we didn't know any other way.
There wasn't any other way. Yeah.
We didn't know of any other way in order to enjoy that. There may have been, I'm trying to think, Second Life, which I wouldn't call that a game so much. Didn't feel like a game or something, but it was one of those online community things. So probably not necessarily a game. But I think you had to pay I don't think you had to pay you didn't have to pay to actually buy it. You paid to play it. You could download it for free, but you couldn't do anything inside the thing without paying a monthly subscription to it, I think, to do it.
Not even a demo?
Not for that. I don't know why I'm thinking of Second Life. I feel like it's something else that I'm misremembering. But yeah, I can't remember.
Yeah.
Anyway, continue on.
Yeah,
we've gone off on a wild ride here.
No, it was relevant because how it used to be to pay.
I totally forgot.
Yeah.
I totally forgot that we used to have to pay a price for the game and then pay another price, usually like $15 on top of it,
a month. Yeah,
to play it every month.
Yeah.
And then if we missed it, we just couldn't log in and play. We had to pay.
Yeah. It
wasn't like, well, you can just play the bare bones version. No, you didn't get that. You just couldn't play it.
No, it was an all or nothing situation at that time. But yeah, so I haven't paid the premium packs price point in a long time.
Yeah.
But I'm still able to play the game and get with do missions and things of that nature.
Good.
You just get better perks and things, better perks, more storage, all types of other little things of that nature. But it wasn't really necessary to do what I wanted to do. So I'm just having I'm getting back into the swing of things, having fun with that, and seeing how everything can mix and match up in terms of classes and equipment and gear, and taking out enemies and things of that nature. So yeah, that's pretty much what I've been playing for the most part this week.
Man, I played a bunch. But before I get to that, this is something else. This goes back to our game discussion just a minute ago about the way things used to be, type of thing, and totally forgetting that they were that way.
Yeah,
and thinking about it now, thinking, "Wow, what a ripoff that would be if they did that now." Like, why weren't we complaining about that back then? It was because we didn't know any better. It's because we didn't know of anything, especially a game that's free to play. Huh?
Yeah.
How does that work?
Yeah, but I still say the fun we had. If it was a bad game, oh my goodness, we would have been.
Well, if it was I don't know, would we? I mean, or would we have just?
If it was a bad experience, bad game.
I know, but we would have just regretted the purchase.
Yeah,
we wouldn't have felt. I mean, we would have just been like, we rolled the dice on something and it didn't work out.
Our tolerance for playing the game and still paying would have been minuscule at that point. So,
like now it's like, hey, I want a refund for this, or I want to, I want the devs to fix it, or I want to get my money back, or something like that.
Yeah,
that was unheard of, especially digitally back then.
Yeah,
we would buy a digital. That's it. You better hope this is a good game because you're not getting that money back.
Right.
There's no way to refund this. On a side, way off to the side, I was thinking about this the other day, and I can't remember what triggered it. I was flipping through Apple TV or whatever the thing is. Anyway, showing movies and stuff, and you'd stop on maybe it was HBO Max. It was HBO Max, and I was looking at trailers, and I want to say I watched Blazing Saddles trailer and a couple of other different trailers. And the one I think I stopped on, and this really has nothing to do with gaming, but I'll get to the point. It's a long story to get back to where I was. A film called Double Jeopardy back in the 90s.
Judd?
Yeah, one of the Judds, and I think Tommy Lee Jones, maybe.
Yeah.
Anyway, watched the trailer for that. I think I was working at the movie theater at the time that was coming out. Anyway, watched the trailer for that, and it had the Mr. Trailer voiceover guy, and Don LaFontaine or somebody else. I don't know, but the usual, like, in a world, blah, blah, blah. All of this stuff. And I started hitting some other trailers, like, in the 90s and moving up, and I was trying to pinpoint where we stopped the trailer voice. Any trailer now for a film, maybe even, I don't know about games, I haven't really paid attention to game trailers, but for film, any trailer now for film does not use voiceover. It uses text on the screen. That is it. They don't use voiceover outside of pulling clips in from the film itself.
Right.
But they don't use a narrator for the trailer anymore. When an actor's name comes up on screen, it's just the actor's name. It's not a voice guy reading that. It's just that.
I don't know if this counts, but I think the trailer to Boy Murders World, Bill Skarsgård. Did you see that one?
Yes. It's got
in the movie, or
it's in the movie though.
Well, yeah. Okay.
The guy's voice, that's his voice and stuff, and it's in the movie.
His inner voice.
Yeah, okay, exactly. Yeah. But but again, he doesn't read the names like from the producers of blah blah blah, or from
it's just a splash screen up there on the screen.
Yeah, it's just text. That's all they ever give you now. And obviously, I'm sure that's because of the way things have advanced as far as like all this other stuff, and people would rather watch something without hearing it. And I don't know, cost something.
I'm about to say whichever's cheaper.
Hiring
a voice actor or just splash screen and clips.
Yeah, something changed at some point, and movie trailers dropped their voice guy. And I was trying to go through and try and pinpoint where that was. I don't think it was a specific time as far as like, yep, that's the last one that used. There probably is, but I was trying to figure out like, I think one of the most recent,
the last voiceover trailer.
Right,
which one is
I think one of the most recent was in 2011, maybe even 2013. I can't remember what the film was, but I remember flipping through and finding one. It's like, oh, that came out in 2013, and I watched the trailer, and then boom, voice guy comes over. It's like, we were still doing it then. But yeah, I don't know. I have no idea where it was.
Foreign or domestic films? Is that?
I was sticking mostly with domestic.
Okay.
Just because you can recognize, dude's voice, right?
Yeah. There was like I remember a video that came out. It was like a little spoof video. Super voice actors. It was like four of the most prominent voiceover guys in that limo, and they were I know having that.
I know what you're talking about
with each other. Yeah,
but it's not there anymore.
Yeah,
like that guy, that Don LaFontaine guy. His day was get in a limo, drive to the studio, maybe work for 4 hours.
Yeah,
done.
Yeah.
That was his day, made his millions, went back, and he was done. He was done. And he would do that maybe once, 2 times a month. He was fine. It was great. But you don't see trailers like that anymore. They just don't have them anymore like that. As far as the games that I was playing, and I'm so sorry that I went off on a tangent there. It was just something I was thinking about. Yeah, I'm looking at the chat room here.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Don died in 2008. Yeah. So the games that I played, I went back last week and tried to play some of the demos that I had downloaded for Steam Next Fest.
Right.
Because at that time my AIO had died and I couldn't play anything, and then Steam Next Fest ended. I was like, well, I hope some of that stuff's there. And a lot of it had gone, unfortunately. A lot of it had the demo button had turned into a purchase button. And so I couldn't do this. So I was deleting those out. But the ones that still existed, I went in and played. And I still have a couple of others to play as well. Mad Mullet Jack, I have not played, but I still have it. I played Flock, which I thought was, okay. Nice little relaxing game. It probably gets better the more you go, but it was all right. Just kind of a relaxer type thing. What was another one that I play? Really should write these down. Cryptmaster? Is that what it was called? Cryptmaster. Not Cryo. Yeah, Cryptmaster video game. Yeah, that's the one I'm thinking of. Cryptmaster. I'm not exactly sure how to describe that, but you do have a narrator who is the Cryptmaster talking to you as you go through this. It is very much it's first person. It is, one step at a time type thing. You move in quadrants. So it's not necessarily, I'm going to walk in all kinds of directions and move this way. You go front, you go back, you go left, you go right. That's it. Mm-hmm. If you're able to. Basically, you're on a path, you go forward. If it stretches, and the only way you do that, you don't. So if I move forward and I want to turn left, I don't. It's like what's the word? It's like a clockwork type thing. So I move forward and then I want to move left. Well, it'll turn my body first, then I can go left. You know what I'm saying?
Sounds like Resident Evil.
Maybe.
Tank controls of the original Resident Evil.
Very much tank controls. I would say very much tank type controls where you move forward, move backward. If you want to turn left, you hit the button to turn left, your body turns, and then you hit the button again to move left if you're able to. Mm-hmm. Anyway, that's not the point. The point is it's more of it's you and you're with a party, or kind of, because it's just you really, but you've got other people there. They're not people you can see, but they're down there at the bottom on your HUD. And it's all about spelling. I hate to say that. It's all about spelling. So I would come upon a chest and the Cryptmaster comes up. And by the way, the voice of the Cryptmaster and the writing for the Cryptmaster is fantastic. Very, very tongue-in-cheek humorous. Mm-hmm. So it was really nice. Anyway, he'll open up the chest and he'll say something about it without saying what it is. And then you have to type in, you've got like 4 or 5 chances to get him to describe what he's looking at. Mm-hmm. So you tell him to look at it and he'll tell you what he's looking at. You'll tell him to feel it and he'll tell you what it feels like. That sort of thing. And you can say other things as well about it to get him to kind of give you an idea of what it is. There was a shield. There was like a sword, a helmet, piece of armor, stuff like that you would. Armor is too vague, by the way. That doesn't help. It has to be a specific armor. Because he talked about something that was leathery and light. And I thought, oh, armor. No.
So you got to
too vague. It was a helmet. Yeah, it was too vague.
Yeah, so you got to do helmet, breastplate.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay. Shin guard, whatever. Yeah.
And when you would come upon an enemy, you could type in, if you've unlocked this ability, which you can unlock by guessing at, you get so many chances to guess at some of the abilities that your team has. Hit was an easy one to type in, and you could hit the person. Mm-hmm. But then you have to wait for a cooldown. Except you've got another guy who can instantly cool down the party by typing in yell. He's what's a
bard?
He's a bard. I'm trying to come up with a word. He's a bard. So you type in yell, then you can do that over again. Zap is another word that could work for your team, that sort of thing. So boot, so you could kick, hit, kick, that sort of thing.
I'd say, why not just type kick?
Boot worked. I don't know why.
Okay. Throw your footwear. I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. So it was really, it was I really actually enjoyed it very much in typing those things out. It was and kind of guessing the letters, throwing in a word game for me.
Yeah.
What else did I play? Man, I really should write these things down when I do these things to let you know what it was that I've played. Mm-hmm. Gosh, I cannot remember. I brought my Steam Deck here with me. But I can't remember the others. I finished. Well, I think I already talked about the fact that I finished Gree. Did I tell you? Did I talk about finishing Gree?
Getting the end of Gree. Yeah.
Yeah, because I was real close to finishing it anyway. But yeah, wonderful game that was, and really enjoyable. The one I played this morning, the one I picked up this morning. Actually bought this one. It just came out this week, and it's only like $13, and it's called Balatro.
Okay.
Balatro, which I think is a made-up word anyway, but I don't know. I played all those pinball games. That's what I forgot to mention. Okay. I played a bunch of pinball. I got back in there. I saw there was a sale on Pinball FX tables, and I got real confused because it's like, Pinball FX. And I was like, that's the first one. I don't want that one. I want my tables for Pinball FX 3. I'd completely forgotten how they had set everything up. Basically, they didn't discontinue Pinball FX 3, but they stopped releasing tables on PFX 3. Mm-hmm. And at some point they had, and I remember when this happened, but I'd completely forgotten about it. They basically re-released the entire thing as Pinball FX. Just, that's it. Pinball FX. We're not doing the 2, we're not doing the 3. It is Pinball FX. You download this, and now you have to re-buy all of your tables.
That's a lot of tables.
It's a ton of tables. In fact, it's $181 worth on sale for all of those tables. That's the on sale price.
All tables, $200. That's for sale.
Yeah, that was on sale.
On sale. And I'm scared to ask what the regular price would be.
I don't know. I could look that up now, but I don't know. I don't want to look that up right now.
$450.
Oh, boy, you're going to make me do it, too.
No, hey, chat, over under $450 for all the tables in Pinball FX.
I mean, I know AC Wraith could tell you because I know he's doing that sort of thing. I did not buy any. I was looking at it, but I did not do any of that. Let me go. I'm at the Pinball FX store. I say, they're still on sale. So never mind. This sale lasts, I guess, until... Yeah, I don't know when the sale is over with. Well, none of these are showing as on sale. Ooh, okay. Not on sale price. What was your guess?
$450.
You are so close. $468.
Jeez.
Which makes that $180 look really nice. Yeah, $468 for those tables. It is a different engine. Everything is, it's a completely different, everything is different. And it's one of the reasons that you have to rebuy everything is because they could not import the tables into the new game.
Yeah, had to remake them all.
So they said. I mean, that's a great excuse to, tell people so they rebuy tables. But yeah, that's a lot of tables. Anyway, I went in there and was looking at some of the tables and played a few of the tables. I played the ET table for a while, and Oh, man, I played another I think it was just E.T. In fact, I played E.T. in Pinball Effects 3, and then I played E.T. in the regular Pinball Effects as like a free trial type thing.
Yeah.
And I kind of liked it in Pinball. I kind of liked the updated engine. Kind of. I don't think I put in near enough time to really tell you if I preferred it over the other one, but I didn't necessarily have a problem with it. I would have put in more time, but I didn't get around to that until much later in the day, and I didn't spend a lot of time. I'd already played a bunch of it on FX3.
Yeah.
And so I didn't spend a lot of time with it, but it was... It made me miss playing the pinball stuff and really want to get back into it, but, seeing what they'd done to my boy, seeing how they'd just done that, and I actually wasn't too sure on how the new system worked, because I wasn't sure, speaking of buying things and then paying more to play them, I wasn't sure if buying the tables got them in there and then you had to pay to play them or something. It shouldn't be, but there's like a pinball pass that you can buy where you can play all the tables for a monthly subscription fee or for a yearly subscription fee.
Yeah.
But some tables aren't included in that. You would have to buy them.
You got to buy them, yeah.
So, yeah, I'm not sure. If Steam registers you owning... Okay, AC Red says, if Steam registers you owning the table in Pinball FX 3, you can often get it for less than $2. The problem is the tables that were grandfathered in from Pinball FX 2 that Steam does not recognize as purchased. Oh, that's horrible. So in other words, when it went from Pinball FX to Pinball FX 2, the tables you had purchased on the first game was ported into the second game. And then when they went from 2 to 3, the tables you had purchased from the first and from the second got ported into 3.
Okay.
The problem with that is it doesn't register those as tables that you purchased. It only looks at what you have purchased after 3's release.
The last iteration of...
Not the imported ones, which would have been a ton of mine.
Jeez.
That's horrible.
That's a loss. Oh, that's a loss.
That's horrible. AC Ray says you don't pay twice. You just choose subscription as permanent. Yeah. I'm not really big on that subscription thing. I feel like I would rather pay to own the tables again and just, go that route maybe. But I don't know. That really, man, that hurts. What you just told me there, AC Ray, that hurts. I have a lot of tables in that machine or in that game, and to have them not register as something I'd purchased, because that's horrible. That's hard. I say that's horrible. It's horrible on the Partisan Studios. Put it that way. That's on them. And that is a studio I really loved at one time, and I don't know how many people are still there, doing what they're doing, but. Wish they could have fixed that. That's sad. Anyway, back to Balatro. If you enjoy poker, you probably will like Balatro. It is a poker roguelike. It's going to be hard to describe. You don't really play against anyone. You have a small blind that has, I don't know, they call them by blinds, and I know what blinds are in poker hands. Think of it differently. Think of these as 1, 2, and 3. So there's blind 1, blind 2, and blind 3. Blind 1 says score 300 points, 300 chips, whatever, and then you win. Blind 2 is like score 600 and you win. And then the third one in the list is always like a boss battle. He'll want you, that blind will be usually around 1,000 points to score, but there'll usually be a, what's the word? A modifier.
Okay.
One of the modifiers I got that actually ended my run was that all cards drawn are face down. So there was I didn't know what they were. It was horrible. Anyway, so you pick the blind you're going to play. You can't pick. You have to beat the first two to play the boss. You know what I'm saying? You can't pick. You can skip some blinds for a price type of thing, or for a something that might kind of monkey's paw your situation. You know, hey, you can skip this, but this might happen if you do. You know, one of those situations. Yeah. Anyway, you get the blind. So I got to score 300 points. It deals out some cards. I have. A certain amount of times I can discard cards to pull in some new ones, and I can play a certain amount of hands. Mm-hmm. If I can't get to the score to beat the blind in that many hands, then I lose. My run is done. I start from the beginning.
Right.
It goes by the same rules. Here's a pair, that sort of thing. If I want to play a pair, I don't have to play 5 cards. I can just play that pair, and it totals those up. Mm-hmm. All the other same rules apply. Flushes, straights, all your poker hands are there. You play those. That's not a problem. Once you beat a blind, you win some money. It's not much, but it's some money. This takes you to the shop. The shop has all sorts of things that modify the play style. I'm talking about your normal deck has 52 cards. Well, I can buy other cards to go in that deck. I can buy an extra ace to go into the deck if I want to. 53 cards with 5 aces in it. If I wanted to do that, I can do it. Some cards have different properties to them, whereas...
Hold up. 5 aces, is that a copied suit or a completely new suit?
Copied suit.
Okay.
It would be a copied suit.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
They don't come up with second. They don't come up with. There's still the 4 suits, and there's still all the same cards.
Right. I got you.
What they do play with are Joker cards, and then there's something called tarot cards, and then there's planet cards. These are all kind of modifiers for the game.
They got tarot cards in there.
Tarot cards can be used. Joker cards are. Let me go back. Joker cards are used to give you better multipliers. Mm-hmm. One Joker card said, anytime you play a club, it gets a +4 multiplier. So if I can get a flush of all clubs, I'm going to get a 4 multiplier on all 5 cards. Mm-hmm. That's 20 times. That's a 20x multiplier. Mm-hmm. And the cards are counted up by their face value. Face cards are 10, and then the rest of them are ace is 11, and the rest of them are 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. So anyway, if I can get that doesn't matter. Even if I started at 2 and worked my way up as I say that, but if they were all clubs and they were the low cards, still doesn't matter.
Still a big
because I'm getting a 20 multiplier on it.
Right.
Now you can have up to 5 Joker cards which do these multiplier type things. Mm-hmm. They do these bonuses. Some say, hey, this is going to give you a +10 multiplier, but there is also a 1 in 4 chance that it is destroyed after each hand. So it's kind of a risk-reward type thing. Mm-hmm. There's all sorts of different things that give you different kind of multipliers, different kind of bonuses that you can do. So, and then when you open up card packs, when you go to the shop, you can open up card packs. And they could have interesting little modified regular cards, I had one that was a 10 of clubs, but if I played it, it would count for 30, I think. But if I played it with another 10 or more clubs or something, it got the points increased. Mm-hmm. All these kind of bonuses. You can run with a deck that's like 60 some odd cards just because it's got all these different bonuses and different kind of things in there. Tarot cards, you can use those immediately. Let's say I had a tarot card that said, select a card to turn into a gold card. And a gold card is a bigger multiplier, more points, that sort of thing. Well, if I've got 2 aces and 3 kings, I can throw those up there and I'll click on one of the aces, use my tarot card to make it gold, then play the hand. Mm-hmm. So there's tons of ways. And you're just doing this to continue to move forward. Make the money, move yourself forward in there until you hit you hit a wall.
Yeah. Keep the chain moving until it hits. Keep the combo going until you hit the end.
And you'll likely hit a wall at some point, but it is really addictive, and it's a lot of fun to play. What is Thar66 says? I read it gets really addicting. It's $20. Might grab it. $20? Where? It was on Steam for not.
I see it for 15 right now on Steam.
Really? Why did I pay? I paid 13. Sorry, I'm going to check this out because I'm curious.
Yeah, I mean, I pulled it up on Steam. It says 15 Balatro, and the soundtrack for $3.
Well, I'm trying to find it here. Top sellers.
Relatively new game too. Came out on the 20th.
Yeah, it's very new.
Yeah.
I wonder if it doesn't show up on the store for me as much if I've already bought it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, it is showing as 15. What? Did I beat a clock this morning when I bought it? That's weird. Because I did not pay $15 for this thing. It was on sale, like introductory price.
Well,
that's weird.
Well,
I'm sorry, I don't know why it's weird, but it's weird. Yeah, price history on this thing, $13.49. But I'm guessing that is no more. Anyway, interesting. Okay. Thar66 says apparently it's on Xbox. Probably not on Game Pass, I don't think he would have said that, but it is on Xbox, I guess, if you've got a console. I picked it up on Steam because it works, it's Steam Deck. In fact, if you wanted to play it, you're more than welcome to. I've got my Steam Deck right here with the game on it. Played it just before you got here, tried to go on a run. In fact, I stopped. So I'll pick that back up at the house or on the Steam Deck, because you can just, once you get through a blind, you can stop and then come back to it later. They also seem to give you a code, and I haven't tried that out yet, but it's a seed number.
Yeah.
And I'm wondering if I can go back and input that seed number and it will start me with my money and my cards and everything else, but start at the beginning maybe? I'm not sure.
Yeah.
I haven't. That's the weird thing. When I played the demo, there was a tutorial playing the demo. But I was in such a rush and not really figuring everything out that I thought, I'll come back to it. Well, the demo went away. So when I bought the game and went in there, it remembered where I was from the demo.
Yeah.
But it was done teaching me about the game. And I was like, wait, I need to go back and learn again. And I can't for the life of me find any kind of option to say, play the tutorial or tell me how to play. So this whole morning, every time I play it, I'm playing it, figuring it out as I go.
Well, time to go to YouTube.
Maybe, but it's not hard to do. It's not hard to figure that part out.
Yeah, I just looked it up on the thing. I didn't see all the platforms it was on. Nintendo Switch, PS5, PS4, Windows, Xbox One, Series X, and S. So yeah, it's all over the place.
But not PlayStation, but not PlayStation.
PS5, PS4.
Oh, okay.
Nintendo Switch, PS5, PS4, Windows, Xbox One, Series X, Series S. So yeah, it's all over the place.
Okay, cool. Yeah,
and it's 15 on so far on a PlayStation Store right now. So it's all over the place. So yeah. So definitely, I thought it was cheaper, but it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to play, and to figure out as you go, and to learn like what I had to learn, how it all worked and stuff and what I was doing. It was an interesting learning process, but I will say this, it was one of the easier learning processes in a game that like I had gotten a tutorial, but I don't remember any of how it worked. So me kind of reading descriptions and figuring things out, it just started to flow and sort of, I think one of the things about it is
naturally instruct.
Yeah, I think one of the things about it is that piques my interest is usually in these rogue card builder things. Like I have no idea what the card's all about. Don't know what the thing is.
Right, these are playing cards.
Completely independent of what I know. I know playing cards. You know, they've been around a long time. Pretty much, I don't know anybody who doesn't know what a deck of cards looks
Right.
like and what the values are in the games that they play. So having something familiar like that, I guess it would help you get into the game easier and know what's what when you see it and how to use it. And the multipliers aren't not too many different multipliers in there, so it's not overwhelming.
Oh, there are hundreds of Joker cards.
Tons of Joker cards.
But you have to just they randomly show up. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Every time the store pops up, there are usually maybe two Joker cards for you to pick from.
Yeah.
You can pay some of your money, and you don't have a lot of money, but you win little bits here and there. But you can pay some of your money to re-roll. In other words, it'll take those two out and put in new random twos, you know.
Yeah.
And it'll tell you if you've already discovered this card or if it's an undiscovered card. First time you're seeing it, or that sort of thing, as you look up the Joker stuff. And there's a ton of variations.
Okay.
A ton of them to do that. And then when you get into the planet cards, which I know we haven't talked about, planet cards upgrade your played hands, if that makes sense. In other words,
it affects the whole 5 cards, not just one.
It affects certain hands. So in other words, I want to. You don't get to pick. It's based on whatever the card is that you have. So maybe I pull a Mars, and this particular Mars card says that pairs are now bumped up to level 2 or level 3. In other words, so if you play a pair, you don't get a double multiplier this time. You're at level 3, which now they get multiplied by 4 for the rest of the game, for the rest of your run. Not for, not just for that one play, but it levels up hands that you possibly could play. And so there's that as well with your planet cards. I said the tarot cards, they change things almost instantaneously. There's other types. There's tons of different modifiers.
Yeah. So a whole different tiers of modifiers, but with the same 52 or extra.
Well, or extra, yes, exactly.
That you got. So yeah.
Yeah, and your jokers, there was a joker that let me do flushes and straights with only 4 cards instead of 5. That was nice.
I bet.
Yeah, because then it was like, ooh, I can make that. And I had a really good run once where I got interest on however much money I had left at the end of a game. It would add $1, I think, for every $5 that I had in my bank. That was helpful as my money kept growing, getting into the $40s and $50 area. That was nice. There was also a multiplier for every club that I played. It would multiply by 4. So, we talked about that.
Yeah.
There was a multiplier for playing flushes on top of the clubs, which was fantastic. There was a Joker card that multiplied depending on how many uncommon Joker cards I had in my bank up there. So I made sure to have 3 uncommons, and it would give me a multiplier after every hand played. So there's just ways that you can do that, but it's all about trying to beat the blinds so that you can get further, especially those boss blinds, because they're going to have some boss blind, and I'm way over time. Some boss blinds would say, hey, the hands that you played in the last game, all those cards are now dead. So if they came up in your hand, they would not count for scoring. They would not count for anything. They were dead. So you would have to discard those cards. They were not helpful anymore. There was one that said, I screwed up on this one. There was one that said the first hand you play, it was worded in a different way, but it was basically the first hand you play, you then have to, that's the only hand you can ever play. So if I played a pair, then that's the only hand I could play for the rest of that game, a pair. Instead, I played a straight. And that made it very difficult.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have done that. Or was it 4 of a kind? I think it was 4 of a kind I played. I don't remember, but it was ridiculous. And I was like, I shouldn't have done that.
Yep.
We're way behind. We need to go. So yeah, this is music from a game called Witchwood. It is called The Graveyard. We'll be back with more of In-Game Chat right after this. And welcome back into the show. I may just let this music play under us while we're talking. It's good music. This is music from Suicide Squad, Kill the Justice League. It is called The Batman Experience. And I believe it's because this is the part where you basically run into Batman, but he's doing all the things that you did back in those other Batman games that you played. Mm-hmm. Hiding and making, noises and trying to trick you into it. It's a really cool thing. And then when I heard the music for it, I thought, God, it takes me back. Love it. And I hate the fact that it's apparently just not a great game at all. It's got good reviews. I mean, good reviews on Steam. I wouldn't say good reviews like on Metacritic and stuff like that. No. Mm-hmm. It's got horrible reviews.
Yeah.
But this music was like, man, that's Batman music, man. That's my Batman video game music. Why didn't I get a Batman video game? I don't know. I'm sure they got tired of doing it, honestly. But yeah, that's what that is. In fact, who is it? WB, I think. Warner Brothers have said that they were, Suicide Squad fell short of expectations. Not even a month after release. The company flat out stated that Suicide Squad completely missed its purported expectations. Speaking to shareholders during a earnings call, Warner Brothers Discovery Chief Financial Officer discussed Rocksteady's latest action-adventure game. He didn't provide any sales figures, but admitted that the game did not perform as well as the company had hoped for, particularly when they compared it to the success of Hogwarts Legacy. Like, okay, that's fine for you to compare. No, it's not actually fine for you. Those are two different games. Two very different games. Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know why you would compare an open world. I say open world. I'm not actually sure if Hogwarts is an open world type of thing. I guess Suicide Squad's open world as well, but it's different.
Well, they're talking to a bunch of shareholders, right?
They are, so it's no point.
So there's no point. All they know is that video game, this is video game. You didn't do as well as this video game that we put a lot of money into, so we're not happy.
Yeah.
The genre doesn't matter. It's that it's a product, and it didn't sell very well.
Yep. They say that we are lapping the release of Hogwarts Legacy in February last year, which saw the largest portion of its very positive financial impact in the first quarter. This year, Suicide Squad, one of our key video game releases in 2024, has fallen short of our expectations since its release earlier this quarter, setting our games business up for a tough year-over-year comparison in quarter one. Well, yeah, because there was a way you could have fixed that. There's a way that could have been changed. But I know. Lethal Migraine says it could be worse. Square could have published them because they say every game underperforms.
Yeah, they have that. They have a high threshold for success, don't they?
Which, by the way, because specifically that brings to light Tomb Raiders, who they were upset about.
Yeah, it was like double-digit millions, and it wasn't enough.
But it was because it was exclusive. It was only on one system. Well, it was on two, like PC and Xbox, I think.
Yeah, but it still wasn't enough.
But it wasn't on enough. It didn't
get enough exposure, I guess.
Yeah, they didn't. It was enough. It was enough for us.
The numbers were good.
The numbers were fine, just not to them.
Just not to them. Yeah, exactly.
But that brings me another thing. Recently released is the Tomb Raider remaster, where they did 1, 2, and 3, and they remastered them.
Yeah.
That is very recent, and when I was looking again at Steam for this, extremely positive for those remasters.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of love for those remasters. It's a bundle collection, so it's not like you can buy just 1, 2, or 3. You just buy the thing, and it's 1, 2, and 3 remastered. Yeah. And it's gotten a lot of love from players, so I guess that's good to know. We spent a lot of time talking about Balatro, which means we got to take another break. So this was only going to be a quick one here. We took way too long. So we'll be back with more of In-Game Chat right after the top of the hour here. Music from, speaking of Square, their latest, called Foam Stars, which is basically just Splatoon, but not squids and ink.
Splatoon with bubbles.
It's foam, yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome back into In-Game Chat. Music here from a game... Oh, God. I'm not going to pronounce this. Lysfanga? Lysfanga. Lysfanga.
Close enough.
Title of the track is called Steps of the Wind, so that's what we'll call it. Because I can't figure to call it Lysfanga. Anyway, welcome back into the show. Ooh. I sounded like Dracula there. We were talking about how well games have been doing, and Helldivers has just been unreal with its success. The player count has more than doubled since launch weekend. 300,000 and climbing. That is an old report. I think it's now up to 400,000. They've actually expanded the server, the whatever. Like, hey, we can have this many players. Well, they've upped the player cap. So now a lot of people can be on servers now. They've implemented plenty of just Sony has a winner on their hands in this, and that's great. It scares me only for the fact that I think they're going to continue in that direction. Not saying that we don't need more of those. If they're fun, sure, why not? But don't just make that all you do. I kind of look at Warner Brothers, what we just talked about with their situation. Way back when Rocksteady was working on whatever they were going to be working on, it felt like, and I don't know, I still don't know the whole situation of the story, but it felt like they were, pushed more towards going the games as a service route. Like, hey, there's money to be made here in this games as a service thing. This is what we want you to make. In fact, we want all of our games to have some sort of games as a service ecosystem involved, to where people pay more money after they've already paid money to play the game. We want them to pay more. Figure out how to make more games that do that. And those usually fall into categories as what we've got with Helldivers and Destiny and Suicide Squad and that sort of thing. Looter shooters all over the place. And that's fine when they work and they work well, and apparently Helldivers has done that. Just don't continue. But Sony has like a whole plan for their live service games.
Yeah.
They focused on, I think, 3 of them during a PlayStation thing last year, Helldivers 2 being one of those. Destiny's, Bungie's Marathon being another one. That they're looking into. So they do have a plan for live service, and it consists of about 4 or 5 games. But with Helldivers busting out like it's done, I think they will either now direct the other games to be more like this, or let's do more like this. Maybe not tell those other studios to change, keep what you're doing, but let's start focusing more like this, because that was very successful to us. It always happens that way, right? The Wii was selling great, and so the other 2 companies, Microsoft and Sony, said, we got to have motion controls in our stuff. And Sony came up with the Move, Microsoft came up with the Kinect. Would have been nice if they had come up with a portability type thing, like Switch was a big seller because it's portable. Well, let's figure out a way to do our portable games. Sony came up with the PlayStation Portal, which is really, really marketed for people who just don't have access to their television set in their own house. because you can only stream games from your PlayStation within your home network. So it's basically, we have one TV. I'm going to go play on my portal in the other room. You guys watch your movie, whatever the case may be. So it's a very specific need for the portal. So I don't think it's there yet.
It's TV streaming. Only in this house.
Yeah. But yeah, that's and so they just follow suit. That's always the case. That formula is working for them, so let's make it work for us.
Yeah.
Which, in gaming terms, by the time you get around to doing that, that fad could have passed.
Yeah.
It could have died out. And in most cases, it feels a lot like it has. And I was worried a little bit about Helldivers. I thought, man, how's that going to make it if all these other games are just kind of not doing too well for their games as a service thing? But Helldivers has been amazing with its reception. So let's go to the phones. I have no idea who we're talking to. Hi, you're on in-game chat. Who's this?
It's Chris.
Hey, man, what's up?
Got into seeing stars.
Oh, okay. On what system?
I've got it on the Switch.
Okay. How is it?
Well, I've played it for quite a bit, but I wanted to finish it up.
Is it, that's not a, is that, what is it? Is it an MMO? It's not an MMO. What is it? What type of game is it?
It's like an 8-bit or 16-bit role-playing game that's based on some other old series from the past.
Okay, so it's an RPG. All right, cool.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure. Turn-based or?
Yeah, it's a turn-based.
Okay, all right. And you finished it?
It's got a lot of puzzles in it, too.
Ooh, nice. I like those. There's a whole game that is nothing but puzzles. Islands of Insight. This was another one that I was going to play during the Next Fest, and it was a demo until Next Fest was over and the button turned to a purchase, and I never got to. But it's based. Did you ever play The Witness, RJ?
I think I've got it on my PS4.
Yeah, you were on an island and it had puzzles, and you could walk around and do all these puzzles. They were mostly the same type of puzzles. Islands of Insight is like that, but it is a much bigger area. You have much more control over your characters, much more mainstream in that way, and the puzzles are completely varied. They're not all like get your dot from point A to point B type thing. They're all kind of varied different puzzles that you can seek out and play. I'm really, really interested in it. It's a little on the pricey side for me right now, $30. And, Balatro was $13. That was nice. But may wait for a sale on it or something like that. Sorry, didn't mean to take time away from you there. But anyway, Sea of Stars?
Yeah, I've been wanting to finish it up, and I'm about got to the end where I can beat it. So something to knock out of the way before Final Fantasy is next week.
Oh, the Rebirth?
Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah, that releases next week? That's when that comes out?
I think it's at the end of the month, in like 4 or 5 days, I think.
Yeah, okay. I wasn't sure. I haven't been following along, but I know it's a big anticipated release. Because they basically expanded Final Fantasy VII. Sequelized it, really.
Yeah, the way it looks, there's going to probably be another couple games before they finish up the storyline.
Yes! I'm amazed that a game that released back in 97? Do you remember when Final Fantasy VII released?
It was in, I think, 96 or 97, somewhere like a couple years after the PlayStation 1 had been out.
I know. I remember I was working at Blockbuster at the time, and I remember that being up for a rental, and it was, 5 discs?
I think it was 3 or 4.
Yeah, it was a massive amount of discs to play on your PlayStation, the original PlayStation, and remember renting it out, or I remember a lot of us renting it at the end of the night. We would rent it to take it home. Yeah. I never did though. I didn't own a PlayStation for one, and so that was never a thing for me. I know that it was a big deal for a lot of gamers way back when, but I never got to experience that. And now they have. They did the remaster, and I thought, well, that's interesting. But then the remaster really ended up being a sequel. Basically the remake and remaster things that they're doing. They're doing part of the storylines
throughout, your adventure on the original one and just redoing and rehashing the storyline. And, this is only going to take us so far in that story. And then, of course, there will probably be another couple down the road that's going to finish up that whole story from the original.
It is amazing. What it does is it makes me regret the fact that I never got to experience that. Because I think had I originally played that game ever how long ago and been in the zeitgeist of what was going on, that this would have been amazing to watch as, it's a remaster. I'm going to play that because I had such fond memories of Final Fantasy VII. I'm going to play that. And then to play it and then start to get these little bitty hints and crumbs of like, wait a second, that didn't happen originally. This is different. What is this? Mm-hmm. And to slowly discover that what you're playing is not just a remake, but a continuation, and that it is going further from where that left off. Mm-hmm. Would have been wonderful to come across. Would have been one of those really like cool moments, but I didn't get to experience that.
Well, what I've read and seen, when it comes out on the PlayStation 5, it's going to be on 2 discs.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't doubt it. Physically, I wouldn't doubt it. I wonder how much space it's going to require to download it.
Well, we'll find out in a few days.
Although, if it's coming on 2 discs, as far as I know, games nowadays are downloaded to your system. You don't play them off the disc. So even if you do have a disc, you put it in the system. All it does is install that onto your system and then let you play it. You just have to have a disc for verification purposes. Yeah, that you own it, and then it doesn't play from the disc that I know.
I want to say Mortal Kombat was like that.
Almost all games are like that. If they have a disc now, they don't play from the disc. They install the game onto your system, and then the disc verifies that you own it.
That you have it.
That's it. And you have to have it in there to play it. That is, from what I understand, that is all that's needed now. They don't do it anymore. They don't play off disc anymore. So, but yeah.
I wonder how far back that way of doing things goes. I mean, like I know PlayStation 2 didn't do that because it didn't have a hard drive, but I wonder, like, since maybe the third, the 360 and PlayStation 3 generation, or at the end of that generation, maybe PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, where they started doing that.
I would say I would be much more comfortable telling you that it was 4 and Xbox One. Or 4 Pro maybe or something, probably later in that cycle, in the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One cycle, when that switched. It may have switched when these new systems released. I don't remember, and it's weird to talk about that. It's weird that Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5 have been out for 4 years now, or at least 4 years. They came out in 2020. Mm-hmm. They still feel like we're still in the newer part of it, but we're middle. We're middle to close to end.
Yeah, according to Sony, yeah.
Which is just a weird thought to think that we're almost done with. We're not on. I don't want to throw images in people's minds of like, what, this generation's over with. No. We're almost to the point of where we're going to get new consoles. I mean, we're getting a new Switch next year, Switch 2, and I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing teases and mentions of the next ones next year for the year after or the year after that.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe pro versions of the current stuff.
That's what I was reading about. Sony is looking, so the situation with Sony, we talked about this last week where they said that, we don't have any big franchise releases this year. So be prepared for a loss in revenue for software.
Yeah,
hardware had already taken a dip anyway for what they were projecting, and with that being the case, it feels like later this year, likely, we will get the whatever the mid step is from 5 to 6. The PlayStation 5 Pro. We'll get a revamped console. I don't know about from Microsoft, but I'm almost positive we're going to get that from Sony, because Sony doesn't have. They're getting ready for. Oh goodness. Some release. If they don't have any releases coming out this year, then they are going to have some coming out the year after that. Mm-hmm. And I'm trying to think of what they are. I remember there being talks about. I mean, obviously we've seen the leaks of Insomniac. We know what they've got going on with Wolverine, Spider-Man 3, the Venom standalone game that they're working on. So we know those are coming. But they want to be in a position to where people will buy the newer console for those games to kind of give a nice little bump in between now and then. And so I think they'll get those out there. I think they'll put those on the shelf this year for Christmas and stuff. They'll put those on the shelf. Mm-hmm. PlayStation 5 Pros. I don't know what they're going to call it.
Yeah.
Probably by the end of this year, or probably in the next year or so, huh?
The PlayStation 5 revamp will I almost am sure it'll be out this year. Later this year. I'm almost positive that it'll be out later this year. I don't know how much different it's going to... I don't know any specs for you as to what it's going to be like. I don't know anything. Bigger hard drive, a little bit better on the the look of it and everything else. Maybe some upgrades here and there, but yeah, I think definitely we'll get that mid-between console generation thing happening this year for Sony. I don't necessarily know that Microsoft has anything up their sleeve just yet for a revamp on the Series X. I really don't think they do, but I believe Sony does. So that's my thought. You can hold me to it, but we'll find out later this year. But I think we are going to get that.
Uh-huh.
I don't know why I think that, just because they've got nothing else. And if you've got nothing else from your team, then I figure that's what they're going to release, is a revamped console to try and bring in some revenue, hardware revenue. But I don't know.
Because they were taking losses on it every the whole year, weren't they?
They were up to a point.
Yeah.
They had a pretty good run in a few years back with their PlayStation, because you could find those, but you couldn't find Xboxes, or the Xboxes weren't, I don't know what the deal was. And it wasn't necessarily that Xbox was selling better than PlayStation. They just had more inventory, and the PlayStation was, and the PlayStation was selling pretty well. They did a couple of Black Friday deals that were pretty good as well. But yeah, I think we'll get that. Will we get any new games that go with it? Maybe third-party titles, possibly. But who knows? So. Well, Chris, anything else, buddy, before we let you go?
Oh, yeah. I've been working on one of our old VCRs that I've had. It's about only a few years younger than I am. Do you remember those old beasts of VCRs, those old top-loader VCRs from in the early 80s, from like 81?
I want to say I had one, yeah.
Yep.
I had one.
Well,
family had one.
Ours was an old RCA VET 650. You can Google what it looks like, but, it weighs almost as old as it is. A good 30, 40 pounds, give you a hernia moving the thing around.
They were weighty suckers. Mm-hmm. Yes, they were. Yeah. They were very hefty.
Well,
Husky, we call them.
We've had ours in the closet for years that had, a wired remote, like a 15 or 20-foot wired remote that hooks up to the corner of it.
Yep.
And I was curious to see if the darn thing would work or not, but it won't play tapes, and but it looks like the electronics and the brains of it are still functioning, and I pass the signal through it. It still passes the signal okay, and all.
Yeah, but the motors are probably dead.
But I didn't know it's actually looking really good. Then I found a repair video of the exact same model on YouTube from a repair guy that has like 40 years experience, and his that he repaired was doing the exact same thing that mine's doing, but mine has less issues than he. And so far it's all mechanical, and I'm waiting on some parts, and just what I've seen so far, one of the rubber bands on the bottom that drives the motors is wore out, and it doesn't have enough strength to play the tape and fast forward or rewind, but I can trick the thing when there's no tape in there, and it'll do fast forward and rewind without a tape in it. So a wore-out belt that drives the mechanism, and then one of the other gears and stuff, and the tape load mechanism is froze up where they should be free to spin and move, and his did the exact same thing that mine's doing, and I want to clean those up and get those items fixed, and I may be lucky, and it may still play tapes and record like it used to, if there's no other issues besides those two mechanical issues.
Well, good luck, man. And give us an update. That's kind of cool.
But anybody out there, and of course, I've posted pictures of my process of taking it apart, Scott, so you can look at the pictures of it with the faceplate off and everything. But that thing's a beast to look at.
I wish I could remember the one we had, but we had a top loader as a kid. I remember putting my tapes in there and stuff, but we had a top loader VCR. I just don't remember the name of it. Big silver looking thing with, but like the size of this console, this board that we have in here, but the size of this thing, just one part the tape went in, the rest of that was the tiny clock and then these big buttons, but the rest of it was all just the innards that had to do everything. That was just amazing how huge it was. All right, Chris, well, we got to run anyway, so thank you for calling in, and we'll talk to you next week, all right?
All right, I'll see y'all later. Y'all have a good one.
You too, buddy.
Take care now.
Bye-bye.
Yep. All right, bye.
We are going to take a break here. When we come back, we'll hit up the rest of the news that we can. Thar, I had a Betamax as well. I think I still do. I've got something, and I don't know what it's called, but it's there's these little thin tapes, and you put them in the top of this viewer, and there's no audio with it, though. It's just images, and it just plays. So I don't remember what that was.
Like a glorified Viewmaster.
But I remember the camera that Dad had, and I may still have it somewhere, but you held it in hand. It was like a pistol grip type thing with the camera, and on the top were these two just bright as day lights that stuck out like that. But there's no audio. Just you press the trigger, and it would record, and that was it. I don't remember what those are called. But anyway... we'll be back with more in just a minute. This is music from Vampire the Masquerade. It is called, The Vampire the Masquerade, subtitled Justice. This is the main theme. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back into in-game chat. Music here from a new game called Banishers, Ghosts of New Eden. It's the credit music that plays over the credits there. Jumping into the news. Elden Ring DLC, man.
Yeah, I saw the
Shadow of the Erd Tree?
Shadow of the Erd Tree.
Okay, I'm making sure I pronounced that right. Is the Erd Tree the big tree that's on the thing?
Yeah, the big tree you got to get to where the boss battle takes place. Yeah,
gotcha.
Yeah. What I'm thinking is there going to be another Future Press book for that? Probably is, because they did split the one for Bloodborne, so probably will be another book to get.
Man, that collector's edition looks nice.
Mm-hmm. New weapons, new enemies, all that good stuff.
Yeah. How much is the... It says it's available for pre-order, but what's the price? Okay, there it is.
300?
$250.
Close enough.
For an expansion.
Yeah. Yeah.
For a collector's edition on an expansion, $250. Huh. What is the regular cost of the game itself? Do we know?
That was $60 when I bought the original game. So
$60 for the original game. But what is the price of?
40.
I'm looking it up now.
Yeah,
I am looking. Elden Ring that says Deluxe Edition, which is $100. I don't want that one.
Yeah,
I don't want that one. What is this? That's the premium bundle. There's a standard edition of the game. Then there's bundles of that. Just what is it? $40. Thank you.
Expansion code. Yeah.
Yeah, $40 for the expansion.
Mm-hmm.
Which, given a game like Elden Ring, I think $40 is. I think you'll get your money's worth.
What was Miles Morales Spider-Man? How much was that?
Ooh,
was it 30?
I wanted to say it was 40 at retail.
Because you said it was what was it? Standalone DLC? I think
it was standalone.
Yeah,
it wasn't even DLC. You didn't have to have the original game to play it. You could just buy that. So expand alone, I guess, if you want to call it.
Yeah.
But I think it was 40.
Yeah.
I'm almost positive that it was not regular price.
Right.
Yeah, you didn't pay $60, $70 for it. I think you paid $40 for it, for that. So yeah. But there we go. We got that DLC. I would love to tell you about the DLC, but I don't know enough about the game to tell you anything about the DLC. It has a release date of June 21st. Mm-hmm. So that's when it's going to be coming out. It'll be on PC, PlayStation 4 and 5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series X. There is a trailer out for it.
I think the most I'm looking forward to is, there's, like I said, new enemies, new equipment, new gear, things like that. But I'm more interested in the lore with Mikola.
Yeah.
Another character that was referenced a lot in the original game, but never made an appearance, really. So we're going to see what his deal is all about.
Miyazaki said that the Land of Shadow in the DLC is probably comparable, if not larger, than the area of Limgrave. Mm-hmm. I don't know. You would know that better than I would.
First part of the game going through Limgrave, yeah.
How big is that? What is that? Is that decent?
It's a huge area to go through. I know that much. Yeah.
That was my question. Is that a decent size?
Yeah.
I don't know what that is. Will it bring in new enemies and weapons? That is correct. It will.
New boss battles, of course.
Will it be just as hard as Elden Ring? Absolutely. I'm just looking at these like, hey, here's questions about the DLC. So there you go. We also found out, not that we didn't know, but we got official confirmation that Pentiment and Grounded and Hi-Fi Rush and Sea of Thieves are your Xbox exclusives that are going to other systems. Pentiment and Grounded were announced for the Switch. Then Sea of Thieves is coming to PlayStation in April. And then Hi-Fi Rush is going to launch on the Switch 2, which will be next year.
Launch title, okay.
Yes. That was a leak, apparently.
Yeah, not a bad launch title, to be honest.
Hi-Fi Rush is great.
Yeah.
And so you'll be able to play it on the Switch too. So we did get that. That's fantastic for Microsoft to do that. I'm hoping that this opens the door for more of their titles to get released on other systems. I am also hoping that other companies release on other systems and kind of, I don't want to say get rid of exclusivity at all. Mm-hmm. They're not. Microsoft definitely isn't.
Right.
Starfield and a couple of other games and titles are not going to be on other systems. Mm-hmm. Outside of PC. They just won't be on the PlayStation or anything like that. So, but the big one and the big one that even Phil Spencer was talking about was Helldivers. The success of Helldivers, and of course Microsoft would like to have that on their system with how popular that is. Mm-hmm. And there's no way Sony's going to do it. But yeah, I'm hoping that we might see that. I'd be interested to know what Sony would branch off and allow on other systems. I'm very curious what they might do. MLB The Show being one of those, but that was more of a contract situation than a we're happy to do this type of thing. There was no contract written up as far as these games that Microsoft has released on other systems. This is Microsoft's decision to say, hey, we're going to release these on other systems. Whereas MLB was like, if you don't put this on other systems, you're going to lose your license to use our whatever
name and likeness and
right. Yeah. We're gonna ditch this if you don't do it. So
and then it went on Game Pass.
Yeah.
And I know Sony was loving that.
I'm sure.
Hey, fans did. Hey, more exposure. Have at it.
That's fine. That's fine.
I was supposed to deal with the NFL, which I still hate to this day.
Yeah, I know.
I still hate it to this day.
What else do we have in the news? It wasn't a lot, to be honest with you. Nintendo had a partner direct showcase. I watched the thing, but I skipped around because a whole bunch of those games I did not know. There just wasn't anything there for me. They showed off Grounded. They showed off Ender, Magnolia, Bloom in the Mist, which is a dark fantasy side-scroller. Arranger, a role-playing puzzling adventure. A couple of RPGs there. The Monster Hunter series. They showed off Epic Mickey Rebrushed, which is a remake of Epic Mickey from that franchise.
Didn't that do kind of meh?
I don't know. I think so. I don't think it.
It wasn't like a blockbuster, but it wasn't a bad.
I was going to say it wasn't a bomb, but it was
like a middle of the road type response to it.
It was decent.
Okay.
It was, and it got a sequel. I want to say.
Okay.
It got a sequel, and now it's getting a remake. So, Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance, Star Wars Battlefront Classic Collection, the first 2 Star Wars Battlefront games. Will be there. It will support up to 64-player multiplayer. Launches March 14th. South Park Snow Day will release on Switch March 26th. Sword Art Online, Fractured Daydream. These are not Gundam Breaker 4. Nope. Super Monkey Ball, Banana Rumble. No. World of Goo 2, which is really actually fun to say. Fantasy Life, The Girl Who Steals Time. Then there was a game called Another Crab's Treasure, which I skipped that. This one was interesting. Penny's Big Breakaway. It's a platformer made by the people who made Sonic Mania.
Oh, okay.
The team who did Sonic Mania.
What was it? Headcanon? Pagoda West?
I think the West sounds really familiar. But I don't know if that's I could look it up here.
Yeah.
I can just do a quick we'll do a quick little Google, and I can tell you.
Christian Whitehead Studios, remember that?
Yeah, Christian Whitehead and Evening Star.
Okay.
That is the developers. So, there you go. You were exactly right. Should never doubt you on your Sonic knowledge. What else we have? Pepper Grinder, which is out on PC, and that's kind of cool. Pocket Card Jockey. I don't know what that is.
Pepper Grinder. Is that a cooking sim?
No, it's not. It's actually, man, how do I explain it? It's like you drive a drill. I know, right? How does that fit in? You'd have to look it up. It's a platformer, kind of. And you drill into the ground to collect these gems as you go. It's a very movement-based type side-scroller.
Yeah.
I say side-scroller, but I know it goes up and down as well. But
maybe the character's name is Pepper.
That's possible and likely.
Yeah.
With the way games think they're clever these days.
Pepper Grinder is an action-packed 2D adventure blending traditional platforming with an alternate drilling mode that allows you to dive in and out of the earth like a dolphin swims through the water.
Yeah.
Okay.
What else do we get? We got some Rare games, and by Rare I mean the development studio. Snake Rattle and Roll, Killer Instinct in RC Pro-Am, plus Battletoads in Battle Maniacs and Blast Corps. Those came to Nintendo Switch Online, which means if you pay for that, you got those games as downloads for free.
RC Pro-Am.
Yeah, I know. Endless Ocean Luminous was shown off. That was the last thing they showed off for the thing. And it was such a quick watch for me because none of those... Yeah. As I saw the titles come up, I'm like, next.
Yeah.
Next.
Yeah. You know what? The original Rage Quit, when you hit a zipper in RC Pro-Am right into a brick wall.
Been forever since I played it.
You went from 100 to 0 in a heartbeat.
Yeah. It has been forever since I played it. Speaking of a game that I haven't played in forever, in fact, I never actually did play it except for when I was at PAX. God, Chris just posted a picture of that VCR in
the behemoth.
Yeah, here, I'll move it so you can see. I don't know, are you in Discord? Oh, look, Dude Frucom's in there. There it is. Do you see that?
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Jeez.
Bertha.
Big Bertha.
Big Bertha. Hey, let's talk to, I didn't even see him. Let's talk to Steve. Hey, Steve.
Hey, what's going on, guys?
I don't know what's going on with you, man.
I missed the whole show and thought I could catch the last 20 minutes or 10 minutes at this point.
Yeah, that's fine.
You guys probably, I see already talked about Helldivers.
We did talk about Helldivers, which I know you're playing that, right?
I mean, I'm trying to play it. I mean, if the game allows me to play it, I'll play it. But
otherwise, you're playing. Oh God! Hang on! Don't tell me! Don't tell me! We'll be here all night. The miners. Hang on.
Yeah,
Deep Rock Galactic Survivor.
Yeah, I'm playing that. That's more of a casual play, just because it's on the deck, and you know, when Vampire Survivors doesn't have an update, Deep Rock, you know, is the go-to there for now.
Yeah. I was just talking about Gigantic, which got a re-release 5 years after it shut down. It is relaunching this spring called Gigantic Rampage Edition. I remember I was playing this at PAX with a couple of other people from the old COG, and we talked to some people who were working on it. We played it. It was kind of cool. It was a nice little MOBA thing, one of the first MOBAs I had ever played. But I knew I was not going anywhere with it. It's just not my type of game. And it did not last. And then 5 years later, apparently they're going to try again. And they may have something here if they're able to pull it off. So, what have you been playing recently since we got you here? I
mean, it really has been going back. From what I've been able to play with Helldivers, it's been, you know, pretty fun. It's been... I mean, I think that's pretty much universally stated at this point. I don't think there's really much else going on in that game. I'm just annoyed at the, you know, the launch and the
connection issues.
Launch.
Yeah,
but I mean, I don't know. This is not the first time this has happened on any game level, right? There's games that launch and they're like, "Oh crap, we are way more popular than we anticipated." Yeah, but I've never seen a game launch without a AFK timer. That was really odd.
But now it's in there, right? They patched it in, right?
Yeah, finally. 2 weeks after launch, it's in there. And then the other thing, too, is you could kind of skirt, because so many of my friends are playing it, you could skirt the system and just join one of their games, and then leave their game and then just do whatever you needed to do, and then invite your friends. So that was a way to kind of bypass like getting into the server, having the server max capacity.
I see what you're saying. So you would leave their game and it would keep you in the map, but it would kick them out.
Well, no, it wouldn't keep you in the map. Like, it'd keep you on your ship, like your own ship.
Okay, but that's how you would play from there. That's how you would get in.
Yep, exactly.
Interesting.
And there were rumors. I don't know how this is Reddit, so I don't know where this comes from, but there were rumors that there was no queue at all, and it was just completely random. Like, it would refresh every 30 seconds, and it would just, like, pull some random person in, like, who's waiting. Like, there wasn't just a line to get into the game, so you could be that's why some people maybe get in, you know, 5 minutes, and some people wait 35 minutes, because it's just not, there was no queue.
Huh. I have not made the jump yet to, you know, kind of tie it into the game. to actually buy it. So I've been curious about it, but it really feels like it is a play with your friends kind of game.
Yeah, and especially play with your friends on cross-platform, which, rarely goes well in my past experience. This is pretty seamless, though. I've been playing with a friend on PS5, and there's been no hiccups at all, like between PC and PS5.
Nice. Good to know.
And this is going to be this, you're going to start to see a lot of this, I think, even as Microsoft tries to figure out what they're trying to do. But you're going to start to see a lot of simultaneous, releases between PC and Sony.
You're definitely going to see that now. If they were hesitant about it before, they are not anymore. After that,
I've been paying attention to like what their upcoming, releases are, or trying to, with Helldivers was the one, and they have a couple others. I think that they're going to start. They're not live services, but I think they're going to start to see like the other franchises, like maybe Ratchet and Clank or something, start to come over at the same time.
They talked about that in whatever they had talked about recently, where they said that PlayStation 5 was on its last legs, or at the end of its life cycle type thing, or we're nearing the end of the life cycle on the PS5. Mm-hmm. When they talked,
was that the words they used, or did they say like we're past the midpoint or something?
It was something. It was something to that effect that put it in your mind that from the way they put it, it made it sound like we're on the downhill of the lifespan of the console. In other words, we're getting near to the point where we're going to be releasing, the 6, whatever the next iteration is. That's way down the line. And when I say way, I'm thinking like 2-3 years off.
Did they mean 6 when they say that, or do they mean like the PS5 Pro, which is
no? I think they meant the life cycle of the PlayStation 5 itself. I don't necessarily think they meant that particular console. In other words, we've got a 5.5 coming out or something like that. I think they meant this is we're on the back end of this generation.
Okay.
From the way that I interpreted it, that's what I thought they meant there. But of course, they also said that they're not going to be getting any their franchise. They've got nothing to release until sometime next year in their regular franchises, which doesn't rule out like Helldivers 2, non-franchise type stuff. So
that's the odd thing about that. I did see that, like Microsoft's in the same boat, but normally around this time in a console's life, you start to see really the best games come out because they've been in development, since GA or whenever the console launched. And, it takes X years to kind of build up and kind of release something as big. And maybe we'll see that with, GTA 6 will be the big game across both consoles that kind of, when people go crazy. But
that's the one. That's the one. Okay, you just reminded me. I was talking when we had Chris on the phone, and I was telling him what Sony was preparing for since they didn't have anything releasing. March of next year, GTA 6. And point being is their 5.5, whatever their next iteration of the PlayStation 5 is to be, not the next one, not the next generation console, but the mid-step, will likely see release later this year to prep for the amount of people who are going to be jumping onto new systems for GTA 6. People probably...
That might be me, too. That might be like pointed at me, because I haven't even bought a PS5 yet. But I'm holding up my fingers like in front of the camera, like an inch. I'm this close to finishing my theater in the basement, and I'm going to need some kind of 4K Blu-ray player. So that might be the perfect time.
From what I understand, well, I don't know how serious you take your 4K players, but I think I don't know. I don't know if you split hairs on this thing or not. But a dedicated 4K player is going to be better than your console. If you care at all about that, and I once did, but I don't anymore. So I can use the systems as 4K players if I want to, but most of my stuff is now digital anyway, which I'm still not getting true 4K picture and audio from digital. Nothing like what you would get on a disc.
Right. Yep.
But yeah, that again, I'm really splitting hairs when it comes to that, and you would be too. What are they called? A purist will tell you that you're not getting the same quality from a console player that you would from a dedicated 4K player. Just home theater to tell you. That's all.
Yeah, I'm just gonna kill two birds with one stone.
Which is fantastic to do. I don't blame anybody for doing that. In fact, I would encourage it because you get more for your money. So, I would say that. Is life going well for you, man? Because we've only got a few minutes and I got to go. But I just want to make sure you're doing okay and everything's going good with the kid and the wife and everything else.
Things are steady at the moment, but thank you for asking.
All right.
Glad to check in with you guys.
I always want to find out, man. Well, take care, and we will talk to you later, all right?
You too. Bye.
See you.
Have a good one.
All right, that's going to wrap it up for us. We are done. Thank you guys so much for joining us in the chat room and listening on the streams, on the radio, and everything else. Don't forget to grab our show every week off of iTunes and YouTube and everywhere else you can get it. We're on Spotify as well. You can search for us there if you want to grab the shows. So thank you so much, everybody. This is music from Helldivers 2. It is the main theme, and it is called A Cup of Liberty. See you next Saturday.